Okay, great. Thank you so much. So my name is Daniel Garcia, and with me here is my colleague Christine. We are super excited to be participating in DynamicsCon. Today, we are going to be talking about the secrets of how to take an average person to become a galactic super user. And so we're going to go through a little bit of the struggles of the average ordinary user. Then I'm going to hand it over to Christine. Christine's actually going to do a live presentation, a live demo of what is possible, what you could do with ClickLearn. And then we're gonna share with you 3 secrets of how to master user adoption. Of course, we're gonna have a Q&A session at the end. So keep that in mind. Think about some questions that you wanna bring up as we go through this. So I thought in describing the struggles of a typical user, I thought it would be neat if I share a little bit about my story of how it is that we got here present in front of you at DynamicsCon. And so my journey, my career, it has taken me to hold many different job titles, right? And work in many different industries. I used to work in merchandising. At one point, then I started doing product development where I had to work with suppliers in China to develop new products. I also worked in retail, both online and also helping retailers brick and mortar style. At one point I was like, okay, I want to continue traveling the world. And then I decided to do distribution to all of South America. So I used to manage a region from like Mexico all the way down to Argentina, Patagonia. Then I got homesick and I decided to come back to the States. And I ended up working for a unicorn company in South Florida called Kaseya. And they do IT infrastructure. This is where I actually met my wife, and she was missing her family. So then I said, okay, let's move to the Nordics. And so now we live here in Copenhagen, which is where ClickLearn is headquartered. So all of that to basically describe and to explain to you that my journey as an employee required me to learn many business platforms. So I had to learn everything from SAP to Dynamics. And so this journey was without, of course, it was with struggle because I always had access to learning, but very limited. So my first experience of learning was like binders. That was my first job. And okay, that's a little bit like telling my age, the analog years, but it was a reality. I used to have to travel and I had this SAP business system that I had to utilize, and I hated traveling with these binders. The binders never matched the reality of what was in front of my screen. I call them the bricks, hated it. Then the next experience that I had was classroom training. And classroom training is pretty cool if for one day, right? Because for one day you have access to the instructor, you have access to the super users, and everybody is like rah, 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 and you feel very motivated. But then when you leave and you start working, you have questions. And what are you going to do? You can't call the instructor. You can't go back. You try to reference to the materials that they give you, but it basically reflects the binders that I had before. So the most common way to learn, and I think everybody can relate to this, is shoulder tapping. So you have to rely on the individual that sits next to you to try to like get them to help you in create an invoice, create an order, and just use the business system. And actually nowadays that we're working remote, we have to shoulder tap in an electronic version of that, e-shoulder tapping. And that creates this digital fatigue, because now that we have to also be on all of these different conferences with your coworkers and collaborate, then you're gonna shoulder tap electronically. It really adds up to the fatigue, the digital fatigue. So why do I say this is, when we think about why is it that there's so much limited amount of training is because I think there is a misconception between the expectation and the reality of digital transformation. And I've lived it. I lived it from the analog years to present day. And the expectation is that, you know, it is a one-time event where technology drives everything, and the end users are going to love it and be up and running. So you see this video of this gentleman that is just blazing through the obstacle course in American Ninja Warrior, right? And this is what our expectation of digital transformation is, when in fact the reality looks more like this video. It is a ongoing process. It is people, right? People driven. At the end of the day, it's about people. And we have to help the end users navigate this gauntlet, navigate all of these obstacles by providing them very robust e-learning. And you know, the challenges with creating e-learning, I think a lot of you can relate. It requires the entire organization to be in line. You have to make a definition of who owns the training, what type of participation you're going to get between IT, HR, and the departments. Very, very common is the realization that you don't have the bandwidth to create all of these documentation. You don't have hours, days, and weeks to spend on creating videos and slides and all of this learning material that you're trying to, one, document for the organization, and then two, to help the users adopt the new solution. And so you don't have a centralized platform that allows you to collaborate, and it allows you to continue managing the content. And there's real consequences that come from poor user adoption. And it spans throughout the entire organization. It's kind of like a domino effect. The first one is the employees. I'm sure all of you can relate to this. Having to have KPIs, and you have deadlines, and you have all of these things that your boss is telling you you need to do, and you don't know how to use the business system. That causes a lot of stress for people. You have lost productivity from the end users, which then translates to a spike, an increase in help desk queries, right? And then all of a sudden you have your IT team that's should be focused on developing this technological roadmap, should be focused on building solutions for the enterprise, are now dedicated to answering questions that are kind of remedial in nature, right? And so ultimately what ends up happening is that you have a huge investment on the platform, and there's very low ROI, because at the end of the day, if the users don't know how to use it to its full extent, how it was meant, then this is really lost investment, right? So there is risk to the business, and there's lost profitability. Now, I know I talked, I'm painting a gloomy picture. Actually, I'm painting the reality, because even while working for this unicorn company that was $1 billion, and it was an IT company, they didn't have any of this, right? We relied to shoulder tapping. So, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, there is a better way. This is what we do. We're passionate about e-learning. We're passionate about helping end users succeed with new business systems. And that's what we're going to show you here today. You know, Christine, as our Galactic Super User says, can you please show us what does a learning portal look like when you make it with ClickLearn?
Absolutely. What you're looking at right now is a Power Learning learning portal. This was created exclusively for our Power Apps application. From this learning portal, all of the work processes that you have created are going to reside in any one of these categories. We've also included what we call our inside help. So for any of you that have ever gone over to the question mark here in your Power Apps and you're looking for information, we now have created our Power Apps, our Power Learning portal, as well as the inside help, and we've put it all on one platform. And keep in mind, as you're looking at everything here, it's all customizable. So envision your logo, envision your text, your font styles, whatever your colors might be. Everything that you're looking at will be customizable for your business. So if I'm thinking about challenges or ideas, there's a lot of information. If there's a particular word, I can use the search functionality at the top, and I can enter a keyword term, and I'm going to be returned back all of the different links or recordings that would have that keyword in it. If that looks like it's a little too much, I can come all the way down here to the bottom, and I'm going to pop up this content. And when I do that, now you could see every book, every item that's on this portal is going to be literally one click away. I can click right down and open up any one of those work instructions. If I want to be portable, if I'm going to be working, whether it be in a warehouse that might have limited or no internet connectivity, or if I want to be looking at some of the materials and studying and reading up on them while I'm traveling back and forth, if I've got a train ride into the office or out to a remote location, I can download this full portal. It downloads in a full PDF format. So I can go through, I can put it on my handheld device, a tablet, a laptop, and I can be reviewing all of the work instructions from there. So I've described all of these different areas, but what does the work instructions look like? Let's take and drill down into one of our categories. And now you can see each one of these icons. And again, icons are all customizable. Pick and choose what you would like to see, and then you can come and open up that book, open up that work instruction. Now, here is where you can see all of the different learning formats, 7 of them actually. You're looking at a neatly cropped screenshot for each one of those steps that you've captured on a web page. So we can scroll through our web page, follow the instructions. Anything that shows that's in bolded red text, that means I've actually typed something into that area or element. Every one of the work instructions is going to tell you whether you need to click on a text field, a navigation menu item, a command field, and it's going to tell you what that area or element is that it's looking at. So these screenshots, I can also open them up so you can get a zoomed out view. I can get a close-up view of whatever that area or element is. And then I also have a PDF, a Word, a PowerPoint to show me, try me, and test me video. Every one of these work instructions is going to have all of this information here. So when I open up my PDF document, you'll be able to see it's in a PDF format. It opens with Adobe Reader, and it still has all of the work instructions, and now it's also provided me with, if I have any chapters or sub-chapters, it's giving me step-by-step that I can just jump right down to those steps as well. My Word document is going to open up in Word, its native application. And here you're going to see a little bit of additional metadata in the heading. So I also have my steps that I can click on, and then I have my neatly cropped screenshots. So I can go through all of my pages, follow my work instructions along. I can identify who the author of the document is here. I can also see what it's an automatic date stamp. So this is the date that I've actually downloaded the document. So if I really need that good old handheld Word doc, I have that available to me as well. Finally, here's a PowerPoint. So if I'm going to be an in-classroom trainer, or if I'm going to be presenting to a business stakeholder group, I'll be able to open up and have my presentation ready. So if I have 20 or 30 people in a classroom, now I can have my conversation is going to revolve around the entire screen, as well as that area or element that I've captured when I've clicked on that step. So my discussion will be followed along with the text templating that's already been done, and then I can add any more additional information or context around it that I see fit. So if you need to present to your business stakeholders any of the work that you've done on a particular work instruction thus far, this is also very helpful when you're in a large group that you need to present that information to. Now we have a show me, try me, test me video. And when I start the show me video here, now you're going to hear the audio that's been added to this recording. So I'm going to click one time, and then I'm just going to sit back and watch and pay attention as as ClickLearn is going to take me through these instructions.
Objective. Use this guide to set up a challenge.
So I'm just going to quiet Miss Sally for a moment. We have 46 different languages. We have 146 different dialects. So we've got male voices and female voices. So you can select at will who you would like to be speaking to your end users. Additionally, because we've added chapters and subchapters, if I wanted to jump ahead to get to a particular process that I didn't have to sit through the whole work instructions, I could jump down to the very last end and follow through with the rest of the presentation.
Click on the item challenges.
So the Try Me video, now this becomes interactive. I'm going to be clicking through all of these work instructions, and ClickLearn is going to provide me with the audio.
Objective.
And I'm just going to silence Miss Sally again. So now I'm going to follow along with all of the work instructions here, that I can click through all of the steps. And this is a great tool that I don't have to worry about any training database being set up. I don't have to worry about any training IDs. All of this will be accessible for your end users on that learning portal 24/7, anywhere they are. They can go ahead and access this information and complete the steps step by step through all of the instructions until they become comfortable, proficient with the user adoption that they're going to want to be using in their everyday work of events. And then the Test Me video is a Show Me, Try Me all together in one. Now I better have been paying attention, because this will become a SCORM compliant package that I'll be graded at. I'll be given a grade at the end, and it starts out.
Objective.
And I would go through these instructions as I listen. I could follow along, and I'm then going to be able to complete this test. And I will get a SCORM compliant grade at the end, and I'll be able to have this uploaded by my training instructor or director. They'll be able to upload that, and we're going to talk about where they'll be able to pick those metrics up at a later time. So all of this information is literally what we're going to be able to create simultaneously. Danny, would you like me to show you how?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I did notice that you mentioned something about being embedded inside of the system. Is that related
Yes.
to the little guy that you see on the upper right?
Yes, so here we have our ClickLearn Live Assistant, and here is our link. So from our Power Learning, when we click to open our learning portal, so yes, up here is our ClickLearn Live Assistant. And when I bring him to life, now I'm going to be able to select any of the work instructions that have been created. And when I say assist me now my avatar, which is also customizable, will be able to take us through the work instructions. So as I click, I'm going to follow the instructions. This is now live in your system. So if I needed to be guided from the very first day, if I've got my end users that are going to be into Power Apps, they've never seen it before, they don't know what they're going to be using, you can use this to have them sit down and go ahead and just be guided through those work instructions. This is even very helpful if you have a regular, well-seasoned employee that doesn't use this part of your application very often. They will be able to be guided through the instructions as well. And then when the time comes that they're familiar enough with it, you can close your avatar down, and he will remain up here on your ribbon, so you can access him from any point within your Power application from here on
Okay,
out.
but okay. Portal, many different formats, and the virtual assistant, that must have taken you what, weeks, months? How long does it take to how do you create this?
We're going to create it all right here, right now. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me access into one of our little fields here, and we're going to simply come over into our ClickLearn Studio, and let's get started with creating a recording. From one recording, we're going to be able to create all of those different learning materials. So when we get started with a new recording, we are going to use our Power Apps platform, and we're going to record in my native language is English US. And now ClickLearn is going to go behind my application. And in just a moment, we're just going to add a new idea to this particular challenge. So you'll notice anywhere that I put the mouse, if there is a drop down, if there's a valid link to that area or element, I'll be able to capture that. And you'll notice in that top right-hand corner, it's an icon letting me know that ClickLearn is following me. It's aware that I'm in the middle of my Power Apps application, my Dynamics, but if I want to go outside as well, if I need to click in another area, no, I'm not clicking. I'm just moving the mouse around and showing you because we are ClickLearn after all, so I'm not clicking anything here yet. I'm just going to come back down into the application, and now let's go ahead and just add a new idea. Enough to be able to, let's grab a name, add some information. We're going to grab a description field that we could put some information in. And then I'm going to simply end my recording right here. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to store it in a place that I can easily access. So I can access it from my laptop, a shared server, even a SharePoint site or a OneDrive. So I can go ahead and save this. I'm going to save this locally. And I'm going to say, so you're going to give your file, you're recording a name that's going to be meaningful to your end users, that they're going to know where to be able to access it. So now let's take a look at what we've just done. Here we've captured our steps, we've created, we've clicked on our new idea, we've entered a name and a description. Here is where all of the templating happens, and the beauty of the ClickLearn application is its powerful templating ability. You can see that we have neatly cropped screenshots, and everything that you're seeing that's got that bolded text, that's what it's looking into, that area or element. So this is just not a standard screenshot. It is actually looking and interacting with that area or element. All of the templating is also customizable. So if you don't like that particular statement to say to click on a menu item, if you just wanted to say click the menu item, you can go ahead and update your templating to reflect that as well. We've got the screenshots, we have all of our steps, and over here on the left-hand side is where we can do some editing functionality. So once we get clicking in here, we've got the new idea, click on the field name. Let's say I want to give a little bit more explanation to that name. So I'm going to highlight the step below so that I could go ahead and enter a note, and I'm going to say, and I can be as wordy as I want there in my notes. I'm going to make sure that I keep that placement with the previous step. And when I say OK here, ClickLearn again takes care of the templating for me. It's placed it right where I want it to go. I can then take all of these. I could take this. Yes, I do want to keep that change, but now I've also gotten a nice little text or a notice from somebody that's saying, hey, Christine, we want to add a couple more steps to this particular recording. Can you do that for us? And yes, I can. So I can come in here with my file that's highlighted. I'm going to choose, I'm just going to choose to add a couple more steps. So this is how robust, how quickly and on the fly. This could be 6 days, this could be 6 months, this could be 6 years that you can go back in and you can add some more fields. You can be as robust if you need to take a lunch break and go back, and 60 minutes later come back to your desk and finish adding some more of the steps. That you can do that as well. So I can grab this ROI field. Anything else that's on this screen, I can certainly go ahead and add a team member if I so choose. And then I'm going to just end my recording. ClickLearn has now put that additional step at the end. Now, a little bit more to just be able to share. If I want to be able to, this would be a lot of real estate because we saw that we do have a web page that we would be scrolling through. So once I have all of my items here set and together, I'll be able to group them together. And I'm just going to take the note and all, group them together. quickly just update my image so that way my end users are going to know what is that field, that section that I want them to be making those updates to. We'll say okay here. And now I'm going to leave it at a numbered list of steps just for, again, for you to see that power, that templating. So we have our 1, 2, 3 steps. We have our note that's been added. We also have our object that has been embedded with our 1, 2, 3 steps for what we need to follow as well. If I really don't need to be that lockstep with the 1, 2, 3s, I can come over again. All of the editing happens on the left-hand side and simply change it to a bulleted list. And now when I say okay, there's all of my steps, neatly cropped screenshot that I made the update with. I no longer have those objects embedded and I have a simple bullet list. So now I'm pretty satisfied with everything that I've done, the changes that I've got done here. Pretty powerful editing stuff. What do you think so far, Danny?
I love it. I love it. So you can basically add all the conceptual information that you want, and so basically you're done. What do you do now? Do you produce and then it generates all of the videos that you already showed us before?
Right. So we can take and produce the material here. We're going to keep it with our English US. And then our little progression ribbon in the lower corner is just letting us know ClickLearn is looking into this recording that we have highlighted. These are the steps that we've just created, the work instructions that we want for adding an idea to our particular challenge. And in a moment, we're going to go up and view all of these 7 different learning formats that we've just created, just like we've seen out on our learning portal. So again, let's take a look from the web page. So right here, I can see at a glance, I've got all of my neatly cropped screenshots. I've got my title. I've got my bulleted steps. I have my PDF, my Word, the PowerPoint, the show me, try me, test me. Let me just open up the Word document so you can see again. Here's the work instructions. We just got done creating these. So as long as you've got your work processes set and ready, you know what it is that you want to capture that data, you'll be able to go through those steps. It can be as lengthy or as simple as you want your work instructions to be. And by the time you produce it, you're going to have all of these different learning formats. You got the web page, your videos, and your PDF downloadable documents, which we've already taken a look at. So I won't launch them again from here. But you can see from right here within our ClickLearn Studio is where we would be able to view that information all at a glance.
And so how would you track consumption of the learning portal for the users?
So that is a great question. Yes, because it really is all about the ROI. So from here within our application, your end users are going to be accessing or consuming the information from that link and from using your ClickLearn Assistant. So they'll be launching everything right from that learning portal. So once they've clicked on this and they've accessed some of the information on the portal, then you'll be able to come into your ClickLearn Studio and from your cloud portal, and this is on Microsoft's Azure platform, here we have the dashboard. And the dashboard is going to give you those data analytics for the all-important ROI, because you've built this great product. You want people to be able to use it. And so depending upon how many portals you have created, how many you are tracking, you'll be able to get a heat map that will show where all of your end users are located. You'll be able to take a look at all of the top books that they're accessing. Now you can see here with all of these tiles across the center, you'll be able to see at a glance the pages that have been viewed, how many Word documents have been opened, the PowerPoint PDF, and the Show Me, Try Me, Test Me video. And keep in mind that Test Me video is also SCORM compliant, so you'll be able to upload all of this. You can upload all of it into your learning management system, where you can use the reporting functionality to be able to parse it out to each one of your end users. So you can see how quick and easy it is to be able to get your hands on that all-important data analytics information. Additionally, we have the sentiment from an optional feedback panel and any comments that your end users would leave. And then finally, we have the top search results. So from that search box where you would enter your keyword from your learning portal, if you see that people are looking for template, if they're looking for assist, we might want to think about maybe making some additional documentation or updating the documentation that we have to help people better guide them quickly to that particular work instruction.
Awesome, awesome. So Christine, thank you so much. Before you hand it over back to me so I can grab the screen, can you just verbally explain to us what replay is and how you can use that to update your documentation?
Yes, replay is really great because it does several things. You can use the replay function, and ClickLearn is going to use that recording that you have highlighted, and it's going to actually walk back through your work instructions. So if you have any customized fields that have been added, or even if Microsoft has gone through any updates and releases, you can choose to use the replay application with that work instruction, and ClickLearn is going to stop at each one of those steps, and it's going to ask you, you can click and continue. It also is a very powerful feature for creating globalized documents. So if you do have a global business where you've got locations in other countries, we have 48 different languages. We have 146 different dialects that you can simply set your screens up in your Power Apps for whatever that language is, so we can capture the screens in that native language and then choose that to run your replay using that native language. So your documentation is going to be consistent through all of the learning portals, through all of the different languages that you need your end users to consume and use that information with.
Wow, very powerful. Sounds like there's so many features beyond just generating videos and all of this documentation. Thank you so much, Christine. All right, can I share my screen now?
Yes, let me go ahead. Please do.
So yeah, so what you just saw Christine go through is the end result of this is where we like share with you the secrets of successful user adoption, right? Intelligent user adoption, and we call them the secrets, but they're actually the principles, our guiding principles. It's how ClickLearn, the solution, is built, right? So you saw the end result, and the theory behind it is that in order to have a successful user adoption, you have to make sure that your content is of high quality, available, and relevant for your audience, right? And you need to continue listening to your audience by different means in order to hone in and fine tune that set of instructions that you provided to them. That's why you see all of the arrows pointing to the center of successful user adoption. So let's go through each one and let's try to understand what do we mean by it. Quality, what quality means is that with ClickLearn, you can have 5 people, you can have 10, 15, right? So we talked about how in order to be successful in training, you have to have all of the stakeholders involved in the process. And so with ClickLearn, you can have 20 or 100 people creating learning document, and it's always gonna have that same consistent look and feel, right? With your corporate identity shining through, and all of the documentation is always going to have that consistent verbiage, right? Everybody using the same vocabulary. Versus if you do it by hand and everybody is doing their own thing, it's gonna look completely different, right? Availability, what does that mean? Availability means that you can access your learning portal from any device, whether it's desktop or mobile. You can access it whether you're connected or on the road, not access to internet. It means you can have it from within your business system, right? You can engage the learning portal from within your business system, but then also you can activate the virtual assistant if you like. It means that it's in your local language. So if you think about being an enterprise that has locations around the world and you have an audience that best learn in German, let's say, you can provide them with a German learning portal very easily with ClickLearn. And so availability means complete access, even to the point of the portal itself. The portal is searchable. It's very easy to use. So that goes to availability. Relevance means that whatever it is that the user has in front of them is a true reflection of what they see on the screen. So with the replay functionality that Christine showed us, you can update your entire library. You can have 120 different processes. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of files that can be easily updated with the replay functionality, so that the users always have something that is relevant. The second that myself as an end user, and if I'm using a set of instructions and it doesn't reflect the reality of what I have in the screen, it ceases to be important to me. It's not relevant. I throw it out the window, right? So this is very important as well, relevance. Lastly, we have built-in analytics. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to close the gap between the audience and the authors. We're giving a voice to the end users so that they can communicate with you via subjective feedback, but then also you can analyze, do some objective analytics, how they are consuming the learning portals, right? And you can get down to the user level. You can extract all data and really flex your Power BI muscles to continue honing on a set of instructions that's good, relevant, and increase user adoption. So with that being said, if what you saw today moves you, if you can relate to what you saw today as an end user, if you are in a position of leadership, if you're in a position to have a positive impact in your organization for managing a change, for digital transformation, we hope that you take advantage of our swag bag. And actually we call it eSwag. So exclusive for DynamicsCon, we've put together this nice little package. So if you go to clicklearn.com/go/DynCon, you're gonna see the following. Number one, we have collected a set of stories and case uses so that you can hear firsthand, not from us, but from your peers, other organizations, how they're using ClickLearn and how they're going about it for their user case. Number two, we have what we call a ClickLearn universe. We're launching in October. These are very robust training sessions. These are basically, we are going to make you click learners. And so part of this DynamicsCon packet is that you're going to have free 2 full courses. One is going to be on instructional design. Whoops, sorry about that. The other one is going to be on adoption and change management, okay? So we're going to take you from being a stargazer to a full-out cosmic legend, right? That's the natural progression of our ClickLearn universe. Last but not least, we are going to share with you the tools to be successful, to master user adoption, right? So we're gonna inspire you, we're gonna share education, then we're gonna give you the actual tool itself. You're gonna have access to a 60-day trial license. Then, if it makes sense, if it's a good fit for your organization and you wanna go forward with it, then you're going to have available 2 free months for the subscription. That's only exclusive, only for participants of DynamicsCon. So again, this is a packet to help you master user adoption. Please go to clicklearn.com/DynCon. Get yourself your eSwag. We hope that this was very informative for you. I think now we're gonna go over and take some questions. Please, by all means, shoot away.